fly to the West Coast, and Facebook says, we're not going to let Janice go live on Facebook.
I don't know. Maybe they're just going, what? JP's here? Hey, let's go over and watch her live.
That's
so
right.
Maybe they're not manning or womaning their
station. The station. But we are live on our YouTube channel, which is awesome. It's great to see everybody here. I am going to get the chat up and running. So I put a little notice over on our Facebook page. You're not supposed to be looking at yourself right there. Oh, I never had coffee. I'm gonna have to have some of your. No, I'm alright. I'll leave lipstick on.
Wait, start again. I'm not supposed to be looking at myself.
Don't look at yourself.
Oh, okay.
look at them.
Okay.
They're out there. So we had a little Facebook connectivity issue. I think it's affecting everybody nationwide. So I put a little note over there to come on over to our YouTube channel and join us here, which might be a new experience for some of you. So it's great to have you guys here. I see people that are jumping on.
Yeah, I like YouTube.
I know.
I moderate it, and it's
super,
a nice group.
Yeah. And the quality, I think the streaming quality on YouTube actually is a little better.
And there's a little competitiveness with Gita and I, like how many are on Facebook and how many are on YouTube, and so if you want to vote for me,
vote JP.
Come to YouTube.
Yes, well,
because that's where I usually am on Wednesday mornings, sitting at my desk,
great,
in my cozy little den with all my beads around me, and I'm moderating Facebook.
Yeah, and Danielle said she saw the notice on Facebook.
Oh, good.
So, so everybody's coming on over. So it's great to have you guys. I'll try and we'll try. It's a connectivity issue. I tried on all of our devices. We did a little Googling and saw that there's some live streaming issues with Facebook today.
Maybe we could meditate about it.
Do you think so? Gita's here too. Gita is there. So you know what? We don't even have to worry about a second moderator because Gita's here
to link
which is great. Yeah, and everybody's saying Facebook is thoroughly broken. Yeah. So you know what? I'm a visionary
here
because
relax and meditate
because
exactly
we have multiple streaming platforms.
Yes, we do. Namaste.
Who is this woman sitting next to me? You guys, we are seeing Ginger. Hello again, Janice. You fixed your hair?
Yeah, Ginger, I cut it, and Kate said, I'm walking around going, I need some scissors. She goes,
I literally said,
I'm cutting
what
my
the
hair.
hell are you doing?
I'm cutting my hair. And he goes, what? I said, yeah, I do this all the time. I cut my hair. So I cut the straggles off. Yeah. So.
Oh, God. You missed this? I missed this. Yeah, I do too. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna cry and cry. So Gita said, yes, she's gonna link what you just said.
I'm sure.
And she just steals my joy, like my mom does. You know, when my mom comes to visit, she puts
appropriating it for the episode. I'm not.
Well, you could have it.
No.
You could.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I'm just kidding.
You know what piece that's from?
No.
It's from my first book.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do you want to tell everyone what's going on?
I don't know. We don't need to maybe address it too much publicly, but as you guys may have heard,
well, this isn't public. This is pretty private.
It's only going out to over 60,000 followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
But okay.
Okay.
F&W Media is going through a little bit of who is the parent company of Interweave Press is going over. Grab a book.
Yeah,
so
well,
all right, JP. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Yeah.
They have. They're doing a little restructuring. As it's known.
Yeah.
But so far, what we've heard, and I know that a lot of you have reached out on social media. Interweave artists are on watch this feed as well. So
I'll do the Vanna White.
So
Okay.
you will. So there you are, right? So they're doing a little bit of a Chapter 11 restructuring, and but hopefully, I think all of, as of now, books are going to be okay. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear, but our all of our F&W authors, your Interweave authors, go out and support them. And hopefully, you know, Interweave is such an important voice in the American craft industry that I'm sure it's going to get picked up by a great publisher. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. So that ring that you're wearing, Janice, is from my first book, Simple Soldering.
This one,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one. So if you do want to support us, we do of course have them right in, and it's been great. We've had an influx of orders over these last couple of days. So thank you so much. But you can find both of them right here on beadshop.com. So
and
so
you
yeah,
sign
so that's
them.
I do. I sign them, and
autograph?
I send you a little gift. There's a little gift in there.
Oh.
Little maybe a little pin that goes in there with it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's little things. So we put it in there. And so my mom just said, she's on as her incognito name, on YouTube, you guys, is that if the connection slows out or something, it just continues to go on here. See, it stopped, but see, we start up again.
Right.
Just giving you a little warning so you know you're talking.
Yeah. So we're it. But yeah, but you know,
tell it to the hand.
But your mala project
right
is a great thing to be thinking on today, because with all of the craziness that goes on behind the scenes, this is something that we can use as a little bit of a serenity tool.
It's totally, I mean, everyone is, I mean, you go to your doctor's office and they, you know, you might have some serious thing and they say, well, have you thought about meditating?
Yeah.
It happened to me. I went to the doctor. I said, my knee's all swollen. And she said, have you thought about meditating? Going, my knee. What about my knee? I mean, the rest of me can meditate, but what about my knee?
You know,
everyone is meditating.
Chris and I were at Rainbow Grocery in San Francisco, one of the last independent grocery stores in the city. It's a great experience. If you're ever there, go to Rainbow. The guy who was checking us out was checking us out.
Do you want to tell them what city it is?
I mean, in San Francisco. Didn't I say San Francisco?
No. I don't think so.
Maybe I just said the city.
Yeah.
In town. I went to town in San Francisco. Like my grand would say, honey, you going up to town? Town didn't mean San Jose. It meant the big city. Right. So he's checking us out with one hand and holding his mala in the other while he, you know, good old Rainbow Grocery. But it was awesome. So it really is a tool, a meditative tool that's used all over, right? So Nancy's saying, Nancy, check your settings. Everybody let us know about sound. We have the sound up pretty high on everything, but make sure your computer sound or your device sound is also turned all the way up. We will also try and project a bit as well. So, okay, so Janice, tell the folks out there, how long you've been doing, you told me earlier today that you have made like over 75 malas.
Probably.
When was the first time that you made one?
Probably in about 1990 or 88, something like that. And when I had the shop, I started by repairing them. People came in.
That's right.
People came in with malas that had been blessed by the Dalai Lama.
That's right.
And I am not making light of that at all. This was serious business.
No, I remember, because we would be, when we had our small Hamilton Avenue store, it always seemed like you and I totally forgot this until you brought this up, that you and I would be behind the counter. I'd get the ladies, remember ladies who used to bring in their rosaries,
right? And
they were blessed by the Pope, or you know, and when I would rewire wrap them, we had to return like every bit. I returned the wire that we cut away. We turned it. I put it in a little bag, and I'd give it back because they would, you know, do whatever ritual they wanted to do. They'd bury it or do whatever. But that's so funny. So I forgot all about that until right now.
They did not. I mean, you you become one.
Mhm.
Many people become one with their malas. They wear it showering.
Mhm.
They wear it, you know, keep
that
it on
funny?
them.
Mhm.
There's a lot of tradition to why it's 108 beads. I went and did some. I mean, I've always known it's 108,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of different. You can go on the internet and you can see. In fact, I printed out a little bit of why
Yeah.
it's 108 beads, and some of them are like really crazy reasons. This one is from Gaia, Gaia, and it's different cultures and disciplines. And it's based on Shiva, the masculine, and Shakti, the feminine. 54 by 2 is 108. Then there's, it goes on and on, the mythology.
Yeah.
It has been said there are 108 energy lines connecting to the heart.
What I like about this line, it says, is the truth is the significance of 108 beads in your mala
is open to your interpretation.
Yeah.
It could be if there's a number that works for you, that means something to you, there's no barrier to you making your mala the number of beads you want it to be. This wrist mala that we're going to really work on Friday, is 20 beads, which is the traditional amount normally for a
like
wrist.
a wrist mala.
Right.
Or
for worry beads.
Worry beads, yeah.
But you could do 18. You could but so these
works,
are on
yeah.
a chain so that you can move them
Move
around.
them easily.
People that keep them in their pockets, and then this is made for anyone who maybe not tuning in on Friday. You just as an aside, you want to make this the width of the fattest part of your wrist, so that you can roll it on.
Yeah, and this will be, it'll be available for rebroadcast
yes,
too. And it'll be linked on our YouTube channel.
But there's so many reasons, like Sanskrit, within the Sanskrit alphabet there are 54 letters. Each letter has a feminine and a masculine, totaling 108. I mean, there are, you can
I think it's awesome.
pages and pages about why there are 108
Well,
sun salutations.
Yeah.
It's a very sacred number in Hindu and Buddhism.
Here, look, you have a little drawer too.
Oh, I know, but I'm stuck.
Or you can hand
maybe
it to me.
there are some scissors.
Oh, they're my scissors. They're in that drawer. Well, it was so funny. You know, I was saying how funny it was. Isn't that funny? Because we really did. I think maybe the reason why, when we were at our brick and mortar store, why we repaired so many of these pieces is, like you say, people were very attached to their rosaries, to their malas, to whatever. Even, I think that extends to like their heirloom jewelry that they have, their pearls, things like that. And they just wanted to make sure that all of those things were in good hands, you know. So they wanted to see the person who was doing it and stuff. So
there were some
really
malas that I actually knotted right in front of them. They wouldn't leave their beads.
Right, exactly.
Many came in where I had to have it ready first thing opening in the morning. But that's what really got me interested in malas, in knotting them, how many beads, what stones you use, depending on the different benefits, what the meanings of the stones are, and just their beauty, and then the last thing is the touch, because you're going to be touching these beads a lot.
Yeah.
And
so they have to be
right,
tactile and nice.
They have to, you have to feel, oh, that feels good. So when you are meditating, traditionally, you would create a mantra, and the mantra for me might be, take the stairs, don't take the elevator, or I'm just joking, but you can develop your own chant or mantra. You could join a meditation group, or online they have them. Create a mantra, something that is going to resonate with you, and then the idea is that each bead you repeat the mantra. Some malas don't have what's called stations, like a different kind of bead, which tells you, okay, I've done 8 repetitions of the mantra, and now it's sort of like your bead counter.
Yeah.
So
I can
you
move
can,
it around.
many of the malas that are sold now are just all one or maybe two stones in either 6 or 8 millimeter. So
one of the things I wanted to share from the feed as well is Ginger was mentioning, she said she's making what she's calling a memory mala, which is a memory of her mother who passed away 5 years ago today, actually. So it's a really lovely sentiment to do that. And you know, our Karen, our webmaster Karen, she made a beautiful mala for a friend of hers, and she it was for a guy friend of hers, so she made it a little heftier and a little bit bigger with some larger beads, and she strung it. I think she used like surfer cord or something when she strung it. It was really, really cool. So I think that you know, beads have been around. You know, they just found that bead from, I don't know, 3000 BC, or I don't know, you know, beads have traveled the world so many times, and I think that, you know, beads always really resonate with us, not only as talismans and touchstones, but it's something that we've been adorning ourselves with for millennia, really. So,
in terms of doing, you know, like constructing like a mala, there are many ways to do it. I have repaired malas and created malas. This is considered the guru bead. This is a tassel.
Shall we, let's move the camera around so people can see the front, what you've got going on.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Are we ready to do that?
Yeah, let's do it, I think.
Let's give this a test.
We're gonna, look, we've got a new rig, you guys. Look at how Brandwin's just bringing stuff over. Look at that. Look at how things aren't being too shaky.
This is good. We got,
Alright.
we just want to turn this maybe
Sure.
a little bit. It's a
Look at
new
that.
thing, so we're gonna have
Look at that.
oops.
So bear
Like
with us.
Oh.
Bear with us
So
here.
this is the camera here, like in the middle?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's right there.
Oh,
and so,
isn't it?
and we want to make sure that we're projecting pretty loud today.
Test.
There we go. Look at that. Look at how that swung around, Janice.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
trying to.
There we go. Look at that. We're
That's
gonna-
what I wanted to do now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why is it
let's,
not changing there?
That's all right. Well, Brandwin will follow you.
okay, well, I think we can move
well,
a little.
Do we need to move this up a little bit?
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
that's what it
Thanks
is.
for the.
Yep.
I was like trying to remember
So
what it
pull
was.
that up.
Yes.
There we go. There we are.
There we go.
That's what we want to see. And we don't want to see this cord.
We don't want that.
It's a good thing we tested yesterday, you
Yes.
guys, right? So that we'd all be ready to go.
Better.
There we go. Great.
Do we want to move
Sorry.
this a
No,
little?
there,
No,
there
no.
we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay.
And
Look at that, you guys.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna
Brandwin's
bring
gonna
this
move us.
down. I'm
Yep.
gonna bring you your
Great
little
job.
I'm
tassel.
gonna do just one little more.
Okay, one more thing. Thanks, you guys, for sticking with us while we adjust.
There we go.
Soon we will have it so seamless.
So just so you guys know, we're down to the bottom of the board.
Oh,
so
looks
you
good.
can work right up there, and I will kind of zoom in a little bit so we get just the board.
Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
How's this?
Look at us, you guys. Oh, and Brandwin,
Mhm.
let's also turn on those lights.
I thought about that earlier. I was trying to figure out, is it this way?
Yeah, just turn them. Yep, look at that.
Okay.
Look
and
at that's
then
brighter already.
Each one individually?
Yep,
Awesome.
and look at that. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Ta-da!
And then the only other thing I forgot was scratch paper in case I
Oh,
want
we have some right here,
Yeah.
JP.
I want to be able to just
Okay.
sketch out.
There's the pencil. So,
Okay.
so now you guys have a good bird's eye view about what's happening here. And so, Janice, and Nancy's saying, oh, Nancy, you sweet lady. She says, I love that board.
I know.
Do you sell them?
Yeah.
And yes, we do. This is your favorite. Tell everybody a little bit about this board.
So
And this is how you set, look at how, it's such a prime.
I use the
so
triangles in
prime.
there. And I have to say, I did not have one of these in Virginia when I did this mala. And that's why this mala is 106 beads and not 108.
Wow.
But this board was designed for traditional pearl knotting, so that these grooves here allow you to visually graduate a strand of pearls, which is fairly common to do, where you want the largest one down at the bottom, and then you go up, and you want to go into 2 grooves. You could get a millimeter gauge and do your visual with your millimeter gauge. You know, like it's right in the caliber, the bead. So you could take and you know, measure your beads. But traditionally, what is done is you use a board like this, and then you graduate visually. You look at from your largest to your smallest pearl, and you match them on both sides. Now, most of you, if you've ever had those old-fashioned glass pearl necklaces that Granny had, that turned that kind of creamy gray or brown color, those were always off by 1 bead. So if you had your center bead, then I don't have any idea, I repaired hundreds of these. If you have one at home, take it out and look at it. But normally you would have a smaller one here, and then a little smaller one here, and then smaller here, and smaller here. This is crazy. They have a big one in the middle, and then they'll have 2 the same size on that side, 1 that size, and then a smaller, 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 going all the way up. Go figure why they had that extra on one side, but they all had them.
That extra pearl?
Yeah.
I have to look.
They're glass pearls, but they almost all, and it was like, well, do I add that? Do I take it out? It just would bug me. Okay, so that's what this board is really good for. It's also great for doing a mala because you can match your beads that you you want to put in, count your beads so that you have the correct amount. So that's the beauty of a board like this. It will last a lifetime. If you are good to this board, this board will be good to you.
And I love how the little triangles
they fit perfectly. Yeah. I'm grabbing this board, and it's going back to Virginia with me because I'll use like a paper towel, tape it down, you know, draw, you know, on the paper towel with a felt marker so I know where to line everything up. But it's not the same as a board like this.
No, it's nice having it.
And there is 2 categories. There is the as-is and the...
Right, yeah, the as-is. You want to do...
We haven't had any as-is.
Yeah, they've been coming out really nice.
Yeah, so we don't have any sale boards, and we only have a few in stock right now.
But they'll be back, and I told everybody to put themselves on the listing if they go out. Okay, so you were saying earlier when we were going to move the camera, about how you you started, how you design it. So you strung this, Janice, on a thread that we really like here at beadshop.com, but something that maybe doesn't get pushed to the front as often.
It did for a really long time until we started developing Ceylon, but for the longest time, tough cord was really our thread of choice for I want to just put this here, for ladder bracelets or for anything else. I'm going to take this thread, put it just around my neck for a second, and then I want to I'm going to push this up a little tiny bit, and I want to just show the 3 sizes, the 3 most popular sizes of the tough cord. So this is 1. And this is what we're using today. We're using it in hematite.
You're going to have to move up just a little bit because the edge of the screen.
There we go.
Okay, so this is the 1. I'm going to just tape that down so we can see it. And what size you use really depends on the whole sizes of your beads.
And I want to mention, while Janice is taping this down, she's going to tape down the 2 now. If you haven't before, go to beadshop.com and go to our skill builders. In the skill builder, you will see the Stittionary. And if you don't know the Stittionary, you guys go and get familiar. The Stittionary is such a helpful, I want to say a publication, but it's such a helpful guide to tell you everything you need to know about your thread.
Well, let me add to that. If you go back up a second and go to Tricks to Laddering as in the projects. Go to Tricks to Laddering.
And you go
then
to the Trickster Landring
download the
handle.
PDF and open that sucker, if you'll
Here,
excuse my French.
I'm gonna link it just here real
and you will see I have every thread laid out in sizes, what pearls it fits through. It's takes the Stittionary and goes even
further.
Yeah, it goes even further.
Yeah.
So if you
There's
see
so
there are
much.
the pearls, there's how to ladder, the tough cord,
Yeah, it's
the
great.
leather. It's got. I just have I went nuts. So these are the three, and the way they relate to the Ceylon is that this is now the micro Ceylon. It's about the same weight
Maybe
as
just a little tinier, maybe. I don't know.
it's a little more consistent, but it's about the same. It's maybe the micro might be a little thinner.
A little thinner.
And then this is the fine. No, that's the this is the fine, and that's heavier than the two. This feels like I don't know why it feels like a regular, but
no, it's a fine.
It is? Okay. And then this is this is the regular.
I get that some way too. Sometimes I feel like
it's
the fine is heavy.
Yeah. So the regular Ceylon is a little heavier than the three. My recommendation is to have some of each in your wheelhouse, so that when you go to pick your thread, you don't have just one to choose from. So I would get them in your basic colors, your black, your hematite, your gold, your like a cream or white, and then like pick a favorite color. Like oh, I do a lot in green or turquoise or red. Then have some of those threads in your studio so that you have some choices. We're using 6mm semi-precious stone beads, and I've checked the hole sizes. If you were to use glass on your mala, the holes on the glass are bigger.
Yeah.
You probably would go with a size 2 or even a size 3 for your tough cord thread choice. So that's why having multiple choices
Sizes,
multiple sizes. But in picking a thread, you have to always go by the littlest hole. You can't go by the biggest hole. You have to pick. The smallest hole that you have. And so I have.
Let me ask you something real quick. Do you string your mala, and it's a leading question, on a single strand or on a double strand?
I do. I always do it on a double.
Great. So when you're checking, when you're looking at your threads, you want to also look at them with the eye of doubling them over.
Right. So I'm going to put, and we'll move this board so you'll have some white space in a minute. I don't want you looking at gray stripes. Like when you have someone on and you're using the macrame board, and I see all those grids, I just want to go,
I think it looks good.
I don't like to see that. Okay, so I'm going to just put in the end. So for everyone out there, I've cut 4 yards.
And you put your needle on?
I put my needle on. I used a flexible eye needle. It's down here. Let's get it all the way. Where is it? Here it is. Flexible eye needle. This little needle will collapse as it goes through your first bead, unless the bead hole is really large. I have a gemstone that I keep handy. It's my flexible needle eye flattener, and it's a pearl or a little gemstone that flattens my needle. I do that if I'm using bullion, and I don't want
you don't want it to.
I don't want it to open up, so I'll flatten the needle with a pearl or something that has a very fine hole. So I cut 4 yards. It seems like a lot, but when all is said and done, you're doubling it over. And so I'm going to just put in the very end, I'm putting like a safety knot in, and I'm just going to go through an overhand knot once, and then I'm going to go through it twice, and I'm just pulling it. this, we're not even going to use this. This is just in case that one of my cats comes and pulls it off the counter and pulls the tape off. Then I'm going to take a piece of tape, and this sort of matters. You do need about 3 inches down, and then I'm going to put a tape flag over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and this is also very important, I'm going to string on 3 of my beads, 3 of my 6mm beads, and I am going to test each one of them. So you go, well, why am I testing them? And the reason I'm going to test them is that we are going to, these are, I think these are the beads that I started with. They're right up in here. We're going to put on 3 beads, and then we're going to put on a 4th one and knot underneath the 4th one, and then start to go around. Because when we're done, we're going to come back through those beads, which already have double thread in.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure that the last bead we put on, you can go through with 4 thicknesses, and then these 3 beads, you want to make sure you can come back through.
And Janice, just for clarification, this is tough cord 1 you're using.
I'm using 1, so we're going to
put
put
the hematite color.
In the hematite. So we're going to put on 3 beads, and we're going to just, there's our thread that goes through them, and then we're going to test them by going back through. Not all beads are equal. Some beads, the holes are off to a little bit, maybe they're more narrow. So we want to test these. Once we've tested them, then we can start our project and knotting.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that first.
And this tough cord, just to clarify, this is like it's a nylon thread. It's polyester
it's
thread.
nylon.
It's not a silk, but it's very flexible. So it's not like a soft flex or a tiger tail. It's a thread.
It's a cord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a thread.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first bead I'm testing. That's nice. I don't have any problems going through it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to try my next one. And I also mix the different, see, this one feels a little tight. I don't like this. This is the matte black Amazonite. This one feels a little, it's okay, but I really want generous. Let me try this one. I'm going to replace that. Maybe this one will be better. I think all the Amazonite might have the smaller holes.
You know, and the threads, as you were saying, the hole sizes do vary from bead type to bead type.
Right.
As well as, pardon me, in the strand itself. So having you test those is very prudent.
Right. Well, you have to test them because you have to go back through them, and if you can't, you're stuck. Okay, so that one will work, and then I'm going to do the next one. And I laid out all the beads. I counted them out, and I used 6 rounds,
Mm-hmm.
and then I did a station of like 2 rondelles.
Mm-hmm. And those are the 6mm wood opalite rondelles.
And then 6 beads, and then where's this? Oh, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 rondelles. So let's see if this one will work. That one will work. Okay, so I have my 3 beads on now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me move this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions so far?
No, we're doing good. I'm answering.
Okay.
You've been answering those as I've been asking them.
So there are our 3 beads,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And so
now
you don't put any knots between those now, JP, right?
no, because these are the ones. This is what I was referring to when we go to finish here. We're going to bring this needle back through each bead, do the knot, then back through the next bead, do the knot,
Mm-hmm.
back through the next bead, do the knot, and do a knot there. So we're going to, we put on 3 beads that we can go through twice, then we put our next bead on. We don't have to go back through this one again,
Mm-hmm.
but we're going to knot underneath the 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that tape is acting like a little stopper.
yeah, because we need this thread for when we
When
are
we're
done
done.
on this side, we're gonna cut that off, and we need some thread to be
For
able to
knotting.
do a knot on the other side. Okay, so we have the 4 beads, and now we're going to basically knot. Now you are so good at doing the tweezers.
Right, the
Do you
tweezer
wanna-
thing.
do you
Sure,
want-
would you like me
yeah.
to do it?
Because I only can do like my hand knotting.
So for pearl knotting, we have, and you guys have seen me do this, you've seen Janice do this, you've seen Emily do this. If you go over to beadshop.com and you go to our projects page and you go to our projects and our skill builders, there are so many handouts about, there's your classic pearl knotting handout that we have. And on some of our different Facebook Live broadcasts, we've done, you and I did a couple of knotting ones as well as Emily did. So in my book, there's no real wrong way to pearl knot. One of the ways I like to share when you're just starting out is using this knotting tweezer here. And what I do, you saw I did my overhand knot and I slipped it through one time, just like Janice did twice through that knot. I've just gone through once. With my knotting tweezers, I put one leg on the inside of the loop and one on the outside, and I grip it so it's firm but not so tight that my thread doesn't want to slip through. So I've grabbed it, and now I'm just going to simply, walk that down. Now, and gently, we're doing meditative knotting here today. See how I gave it a little bit of a tug, and that knot just ended up right where you wanted it to go. Now, this is the kicker that happens here. I take this out. Now you can see, let me turn this around. You can see that that knot is still loose. Can you guys see that up at the top there? All you're going to do, Brandon's going to get the camera in real tight. See that there? You can just really gently lay that down, and you're going to pull away from you with the threads and towards the beads with your tweezer. Also, just gentle, like that. And since the knot is loose, it's going to move. And then the beauty about doing knotting with 2 strands is you can give it just a little tug.
And it will tighten up.
It'll tighten up. Then we just put on another one, right, JP?
Well, the beauty of doing it this way, though, also, Katie, is that you can pre-string your mala and count your beads and make sure that you have everything on correctly. So that's what's nice about this. So
shall I string a few on?
Yeah, why don't you string a few on?
And so Mary Ellen had a question, Janice, about the large hole beads. And I want you to show this, too, while I'm doing a few things over there. This is something we're going to talk about a little bit more on our Facebook Live, our Free Tip Friday broadcast.
Right.
Janice is going to be on with me again.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, we're not going to let her go without one more shout out.
No.
And so talk a little bit more about how you use those large hole beads, and maybe, I don't know, we've got some other palettes here too.
So I have been very intrigued with like a hand, like worry beads or something that I would slip on my wrist like this and wear this way. You don't want it to fall off. You don't want it to fall off, but you want it. You want to be able to take it off and use these. You will see these used a lot in Persian countries.
In Greece, my cousin
Iran,
Zoe, her papoose worry beads, she gave to our grandpa.
Men love these the worry beads. So I did a little research, and I decided because I saw when I was growing up and working in my mother's store, Lydia's store, that she used to put these, we used to have these on chain. The chain used to be the way to string beads, all kinds of beads.
That foxtail chain like we carry, that fine line.
Necklaces.
Fine line, the necklaces.
Necklaces
you guys have seen me use that before.
And so I decided, okay, this is the perfect thing for the worry beads. So we're going to show you on Friday. Right, on Friday, aren't we doing?
Yeah.
We're going to make the tassel on Friday. And then how this is done into the chain, and you can again put on as many charms as you want. And then I started putting together a few like palettes, like this might be for the worry beads, and then this might be for the mala.
And we'll list all of these.
Yeah.
We'll list them all in the episode notes.
That
and for
is,
those
isn't
of
that
you
a pretty palette?
who are watching, it's so, this black gold Amazonite is gorgeous.
I love it.
For those of you who are watching for the first time here, or have
Just
stumbled
tuning
upon us,
in.
just tuning in, make sure to check out our projects on beadshop.com. Drea kind of puts everything together in what we call episode notes, and our episode notes kind of, well, they kind of wrap up the broadcast, and they have the links and everything. So if you haven't gone for past episode notes, go ahead and go to the projects and download them. I adore that palette.
Yeah.
And I love, now this one is gorgeous with this angel light.
I know.
You know, yesterday we were playing around with some palettes for my broadcast for next week when you're going to be back home, Janice, and I'll have to be on my own again. But Jenny and Myra did some beautiful palettes that I'm going to share with you guys next week. I'm really excited. And Jenny, this one reminds me a little bit of the things that Jenny picked out, which are just, I think, gorgeous.
For the purple fans.
Yes, and you have one, that green one over there.
I know. Well, what
so
I was
pretty.
trying to do with this palette was I picked stones that didn't necessarily go together. That's what I think the lesson in making a mala is you don't have to have everything go together.
Yeah. But they just have to resonate together.
Right. This is missing one strand though, and I have to find something. We'll post it with it, but it's missing a little rondelle.
Yeah. But even this wood, this one that one
you
have,
this would be the wood opal. Yeah,
light.
This would be pretty
Would
with it.
be really nice with it. It would be great. And so, and just if you are not going to be able to watch us on Friday, don't worry. It'll be archived. So
it'll be
Cindy,
posted.
you
Right.
can. Yeah. And Ginger said, did she hear purple?
I was thinking of Ginger.
Ginger.
Yeah,
That's her.
just
Purple is her
Ginger.
spirit animal.
Yeah.
And yeah, my mom is saying she has a clear crystal necklace that's strung on chain as well. That was a real.
That was.
And this is our little keyholes chain, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
it is.
And so Janice used that in the silver, but we carry the little keyholes in a variety of flavors. So you could certainly mix your metals in this one as well.
I had first thought that I could use the string-on chain. You know, the one that we got, the bead.
That bead chain.
What do we call it?
I'll tell you what we call it.
And I tried it, and then the big problem was, how was this going to connect and never break?
Right, and it's not quite as flexible as a link chain.
Yeah, and this chain, this little keyhole, is like a double chain, and it's soldered, and then this is wire wrapped with 20 gauge wire, so that I figure
it's
this is
fine line, our fine line
line
chain.
So I really had wanted to use the fine line, but then it required a clamp, and that would be the first place that it would go. It would break at that point. So this was like a sort of an easy decision after I went through some different iterations of it. And then some of you may see that on the materials list, I've added the matte zinc seed bead, and you go, where the heck is the matte zinc seed bead in
and
this
that's
project?
an 8/0 size.
It's inside the hedgehog, without the beads inside on the wire, holding the hedgehog rigid. This thing.
The hedge moves around.
See, if you were using instead of the wood opalite, here's your big hedgehog, right? It's got a big hole top and bottom. If you were using a bead, like if I had a round bead or like a diamond shaped bead that would nest right in that would hold the bead rigid. and you wouldn't need the bead inside.
And, or if we were using a chain, Janice, that had a larger length, we could use an 18 gauge or a bigger wire that would take up more of the hole size. But this hole is pretty big.
That hole
is huge, right? Pretty big.
It's
That's
pretty,
like a 12 gauge hole.
But if you were going to use a heavier wire, the wire wrap would still go into, you need to put a bead
need to put beads
top
on the
and
outside.
side. But what I found is it's still wobbled back and forth. So that's why you could use any bead at home. It's not going to show.
But you just lined them up. You just lined the inside.
Right. I lined the inside and wire wrapped top and bottom, and then added. I love this 6mm jump ring. Add your charms. It's nice and sturdy. And then you taught me how to open and close them so well so that they really stay closed.
You taught me that.
No, I didn't.
No,
I did not.
Maybe,
I did not.
I don't know.
No.
Wow.
So,
I want to show Janice just real quick. Will you hand me the tape?
oh, the
Please?
tape, sure.
And then I want to show you guys this, and then I'm going to have you. We can talk a little bit about the. So see what I'm doing here, you guys. I'm going to. Usually, I would put my tape on my needle if I had pre-strung everything. Okay, but let's just say that I've done some pre-stringing here, right? And I just want to show you also, some of you guys have been talking about using the awl as well for your knotting. So
Emily likes the
Emily
awl.
likes the awl, and a lot of you on the feed are chatting about your love for the awl. So essentially, when you have your beads pre-strung, all you need to do is you need to have a stopper. In this case, it's the tape. And again, usually I'd put that stopper on the needle.
Yeah, the needle
rather
right here.
on the thread.
Yeah.
We don't want to gum up our thread, but it's not going to hurt for what we're doing today. You gather all of your threads, you make that loop, make it around my fingers, open up that bridge between my fingers there, and then I'm going to drop all of these beads through. Okay, and they would all be coming through here, all be coming through, all be coming through. Okay, now all be coming through. There we go. Now you're going to lay everything down. And we're going to do kind of the same thing here, but we're not putting a leg on the outside and a leg on the inside. The other thing I want to also show you, let's say that you've made your loop and things kind of slip around and you're like, wait, what happened? My knot's way up here. Don't worry. All you need to do is, literally, all you need to do is get that all in there.
And drag it down.
And yeah, just walk that knot down. Keep it all loose, okay? Keep breathing through this, right? Then, once your knot is close, you're going to stick your awl in the center, tighten things down. Make sure that your awl is making contact with your bead board. Not too tight, but you just want it in there. And remember, you guys, you're pulling both of these cords at the same time, okay? And so you want to pull the two cords as if they're one. Now, one of the other tricks that you can do, I'm going to take this all out. Now watch what I do. This really works well for some of you who have trouble getting your knots exactly in the right place.
I want to just show you one little thing, Katie.
Well, let me tighten this up first. So remember how my knot was loose?
Right.
Just like this? See how I have this bead down here?
Mm-hmm.
I bring the next bead down, I push the bead down and the thread towards me. And I do that a lot, right? So then that bead acts as the pusher, okay?
It's a nice little knot. It's not too big.
Not too big. I've been knotting a little tightly.
Maybe.
So.
Maybe this could have used it. I used a size 1 and my knots.
Well, I'm a tight knotter too.
Okay,
The tension
so
on my knots.
let's put your knots next to my knots.
Are a little, let me tie another one.
Yeah.
And it's a good, so when I'm knotting, you can see I'm going to flip this through. I'll do
I'm
my
a
hand
tight
knotting.
knotter too.
But here it comes like this, and I'll tighten it down. And so you can see, there we go. My knots are a little, that one's a little bit bigger because I'm not pulling it so super tight. You want to be gentle.
I pulled mine super tight.
You want to be gentle on your knots. Well, then maybe you didn't use one.
I used one.
Well, maybe you used an old one.
Maybe it's possible
Because this is
that
a fresh one.
the thread could have be calibrated differently.
And that's why you always want to buy, you know, enough what you need for your project. But these knots look great. They're fine. Just don't tug them. Don't be such a tight knotter. So show me what you've got here.
So you were struggling with where's the needle and bringing it all through.
Look
so
how you made a little package.
So you just make a little, take some Post-it notes or something, you pre-string, wrap your needle and that around it, and now take it through.
Yeah, let's do
and
this
it's
again.
You're just gonna go, there you go.
So my little letter, my little thread letter.
Yep, there you go.
Right, and everything
and
will
then
go back
it's
through.
just,
fast
and then you
easy.
undo this when you want to add more.
It's great.
That's it.
And
no more craziness.
Here we go. See, I can even stick my finger in there. Let's see, it's a little further away. Let me see if I can get that pushed down with this bead. Again, we want to treat both of those threads as if they're one. Pull it down, push it down, and you just use that bead as your pusher. Let me
it's
hold
kind
it
of
up
a
here.
miracle how this works.
It is, and there it goes, right there. Done. Okay. So I want to look at, what do you think? Does it look all right?
Yeah,
Maybe
I think it
looks
looks
okay,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Let's get the let's bring the tassel to the floor, and I want you to talk about those these
the
mirage beads,
yeah.
and why you love them so much, because I love these beads, and honestly I had not seen them until I came back here to Bead Shop.
We discovered them when Brittany was here. They have a special coating on them. It really stems from the mood ring. And I have a funny story about the mood ring.
I love, yes.
So when I was just out of Berkeley, moved to New York to go into advertising, I went through an agency that used to find me roommates.
Really?
Yes.
Back in
the old days.
When you lived in Manhattan.
Right. And I was roomed up. She was looking for a roommate, someone by the name, if you're out there, Valerie Jennings, who had been married to Peter Jennings.
Oh, right. May he rest.
And Valerie was one of the inventors of the mood ring. And I was her roommate on Central Park West in the penthouse suite. That was the building right next door to the Dakotas.
Can we have an after party? We had an after party with Allie. Can we have an after party to talk about your New York beads?
So whenever I get out these beads, which change color based on your body heat,
I just
they'll
love
change
them so
color based on the lights in here. And so when we started doing this was brown. Here it is. It's brown over here. And now look at it. It's green. It's warmed up. So these change colors. You don't want to get them wet though. This is not the bead to use if you're going to wear your mala in the shower or whatever.
I love this one. Look at that. We use these a lot in the garden project, Janice, is that right?
Yeah, in the garden and setting the mood.
Setting the mood, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It's just
just gorgeous.
So if you go under, on the website, go under Mirage beads or mood beads.
Yeah, I'll link them in
these will come up, and we have so many different ones. They're so fun. And we haven't used them in a project for a really long time. So I said, I'm ready to use it.
And I'm going to link them right here in the feed so you guys can find them.
So this mala is called Never Stop Growing, and I just thought the mood bead really was like it's never gonna.
Yeah, it's never
one color.
Yeah, it always is moving around. And so you also used so you kind of use the mood bead kind of as the cap sort of of your tassel.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit, Janice, about how this portion goes together. We know that we've started back there. Now we're heading towards your tassel. So what's happening here?
So when you're knotting, you're coming down here, you also have to pick another bead here that will take multiple cords. I don't think you really have to ream it out, but you knot all the way down here, you knot after your last of your mala beads. I don't count this really as a bead for
that's
meditating.
More
It's
part
all
of the
part
tassel.
of the or part of the guru. This is
The
considered the
tassel.
guru. And then you come down through here. You've made your tassel, and I think it's probably easier if I take draw a little picture of it. So here is your tassel.
Can you pull it up just a little?
Sure, I'll come over. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, so here is your tassel. And I learned the hard way that when you're making the tassel, before you take it off and do anything with it, you want to make sure you've put something through it.
As a placeholder.
A placeholder to make sure you have that hole. So I have, here's the mood bead, here's the guru bead, and then here's that rondelle. And what I did is this is my stone bead, my semi-precious. I'm knotting under that. I'm going through I'll put it right next to it. I'm going through the rondelle, then I'm going through the green girl bead. I'm coming down through the mood bead. I'm going down through the tassel. I'm coming back up, and then I come out this side. I'm putting a knot before I do anything else, and then I start going up this side to go to the back.
It's really nice. It's a nice.
It's so simple.
It's a nice, easy. It's just like this is a pendant, right? That you've.
You know what's so interesting is challenges or adversity are what I thrive on in design.
Oh, right. It really everything. I think that's your life's mantra.
So I made this tassel, right? And I found that the weight of this was pulling down here. So I realized, okay, I can't just silk wrap. I had to put a tiny bit of glue here and shove that's no other term, shove the silk wrap up over the glue so that this wouldn't move. Well, that still wasn't enough because I found the hole on this was still so big. Wait, this will go right off that tassel.
Right, exactly.
So then I said, I'm
Jump
going
rings
to
are
add
the mother of invention.
I'm going to add the charms and stuff here so that this cannot go. This can't go any lower because of all the charms. But you can see that there is a little play on it. If I made a much thicker tassel, it probably would have been a better choice.
But I like the profile of that tassel size.
Yeah.
A lot. It's not one of the things, when Karen, and you didn't see this, I don't think she sent you a photo of it, but when Karen made her mala, and it was a larger bunch of beads, I made a tassel for her, and it was gigantic.
Yeah.
And it just, even though the beads were big, and the gigantic tassel looked kind of ridiculous.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
it looked more like a bell pull.
Oh.
Like Auntie Mame. Oh, it's that bell pull in the corner. So it was just way too big. So you have to, I think that streamlined, you can make it a little bit bigger if you wanted, but I think that streamlined tassel adds a nice long
It does.
length to
This
the mala.
bead would have probably been a better choice. The hole is not as big.
Well, we can try it on this. I'm almost ready. Next, what we're going to do, and people are asking about, are we going to show how this is done? And yes, we are. I'm just putting on a couple more.
What are we going to show them, Kate?
I'm going to show them how we make that tassel.
Oh, are we going to make the tassel now?
Yeah, remember we're going to make the tassel on this one.
Oh, and then are we finishing the necklace on Friday?
No, well, we can't. We've got you're going to show them the closure, but I think I can just get these few beads on.
See, this is what happens when you get older. I can't.
And we're going to show
on
Friday. We're showing the other one.
We're showing the other one.
Yeah. So I'm just moving the broadcast along, like any good host would do.
So do you want to give me the cardboard and I can start?
I can start winding. Yeah. So talk about the. You've made a couple.
Yeah.
And Rosie's asking, do malas always have a tassel?
No.
And they don't always have to have a tassel. No. Whatever works.
Now, one of the most fun malas I've ever done has. This is what I was going to talk about before. It had 2 tassels. It had a guru here and a guru here, and you had double, and it had also beautiful carved charms off of it.
Right off of it, right?
Oh,
gorgeous.
All in
just
jade.
Gorgeous.
It was just divine.
So we've cut a little template. That's what I want to call it.
That's the word. Template.
And we've cut a shorter one, 1.5 inches, which would be the wrist mala.
Yeah,
It's right
over here.
there. And we've cut a longer one at 3 inches.
Right.
And that's what Janice is going to use to wind her cords around.
Right. This is this, and this is this. Okay?
And so I just made those this morning with the back of a tablet.
Right. So I'm just going to, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to hold it down.
It's a little further up.
I'm just going to hold it down. Am I good?
Perfect.
Okay. And then I'm just going
I'll
to
be
wind.
ready to, I can silk wrap that too after here. This is all ready for a center.
Well, I can silk wrap it too, Katie.
Well, you had told me I was, so it's fine. Whatever you want,
Okay.
JP.
Well, I mean, I don't want everyone to think I'm that
You're not in your
out of it.
You're not in your dotage.
I'm not yet, but pretty close.
Or when our friend Barbara Schreiber, when I was with Barbara in Tucson, our joke was whenever she didn't want to do anything, or or if she wanted me to hand her something, she would say, "Will you hand that to me because I'm elderly?" She is the least elderly person I know. It's very funny.
So now I'm just sort of like seeing how thick it is. I think it needs a bunch more.
Can I give you a little tip?
Yeah, give me a tip. What do you do?
So one of the things that I do, because as my mom who's watching knows how much I love to make tassels.
Oh, you make a little.
Just like you did in that little thing.
Yes.
And there you go.
There you are now.
Team, dream team, back. Look at that. Wind and wind.
So I know
And
this is
remember, you guys, that the
mesmerizing
front
everyone,
of
right?
and looks can be deceiving. The front and the back of what's on the card is what's going to make your tassel.
Right.
So don't think, if you're holding it up and you're like, oh, that's not quite enough. Remember, it's going to be doubled because you're using
this
thread
looks
from both
about
sides.
right.
Yeah, it looks
doesn't
perfect, I think.
Okay, so then I'm going to put it into that little crevice thing here, wherever you have it. And then my trick to not like losing my place is I'm going to take like just a piece of, you could use a piece of leather, you could use anything. I'm just going to shove this under everything. Because you don't want to lose the loop at the top.
No, that's the thing.
So I'm just going to take this, and I'm not a very clever gal, but I just go like this, twist it.
Yeah, no, it's holding
so
it
that
nicely.
it's, it keeps it together. I'm not going to use this piece of wire later.
And then you just need some.
Oh, I didn't cut this. I thought I cut it. And then I just go like this. I just kind of open it like this. Is that how you do it?
I just actually cut it at the bottom.
Oh, you cut it now?
I do.
Okay.
So that you don't have to. I'll just hold it here, and I'll get the. I love the thread snips for this.
Give it a haircut.
And I hold it real tight, and I just.
And then you just cut it.
Come in, kind of under tension. And then you've got to make sure
you have them all,
that everybody is playing nicely in the sandbox.
And you know what I also like to do is then I take a piece of tape and I put it across like somewhere.
Oops, sorry, Janice.
That's okay.
My hand didn't want to hold on.
I'm going to let you silk wrap it, okay? Because I think the two of us doing it.
Well, here, no. You can.
But what I do is I'll just go like this. So that I have them all together. And then I'll just push this down a bit.
Just a little higher. Thank you.
Where's the...
Oh yeah, that's nice.
And then I know I can silk wrap there. And then when I'm done, I also can pull some of these, like the short ones, because it's longer on that side. I'll pull that and get that longer, so I get them all even. Because you cut them even, so they should all be even. Okay, so here we go. You don't have to worry about those.
Are you gonna silk wrap it? You did yours with a different color, right?
I used I did it with this.
Do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay. I'm gonna pull these in for you.
We do it just a little differently.
We do.
Yeah. So, the way I do it is just my method, and that basically is I have a loop like this, and I have the long loop on top and the short on the bottom. So I put a loop, and then I take the long one, and I'm going to wrap over the short one in the direction of the loop.
Right.
And then I'm going to take that end,
and
I'm going to bring it through, and then I pull on that, and I pull on the short one until I bring that knot right into the center.
No, I think we do it the same way, don't we?
Maybe. Okay, so here I've got my, I'm going to go this way, so I have my long one on top. I have my long one on top. I'm bringing it over the short one. I'm pinching it. This is a pretty thick tassel, by the way. And it's like playing tennis. You just keep your eye on the ball. And you don't have to worry if it's not in place where you want it to go, because it's going to slide up and down wherever you want it. The thing is, you just want it one right after the other next to each other.
Now, at what point did you add the glue?
When I'm done with this.
Okay.
It's all done. So I'm taking this end, and I'm going to just bring it right through here.
Through that loop.
Right? So that's through. And then I'm going to take this shorter end, thank you, and I'm pulling this in. See that? That's going to go in, and we want that going right into the middle. So I sort of have to pull both ends at the same time.
And tighten it up.
And tighten it up.
And it's nice, I like the contrast that you used with this oyster. This is the regular seal-on that you're doing this with.
Right.
Or you could do it with the tough cord if you wanted it to be all one color.
You could. See, now I pulled it. This is what happens sometimes. See how that loop is out there now? This has to get tucked back in.
Needs to pop right under.
Yeah,
there
pop
it goes.
right under. Okay. And then now what you want it, we can level them all out, make them all even. And then shall we put the glue on a little bit?
Yeah, you want me to glue? Where do you put the glue?
You could just put the glue sort of like on the side, just a little bit right onto the hematite thread.
Right there?
Yeah, go up and down a little, slosh around a little bit. You can be generous, it's okay.
I'm trying, my fingers don't want to squeeze. Come on, fingers. There we go. Like that, right?
Yeah, go a little more. There we go.
I'm going to do it actually from this side.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right? I don't know why it was so awkward. There we go.
There.
That looking like enough?
Probably.
Okay.
And then this is just going to slide right up over it. And the only reason you need it here on this particular silk wrap is because the weight of the glue bead is so heavy, it will push it down.
And that tough cord's a little slick.
Right. So now we can take off this tape. I don't want to get any of the threads in there. Oh, I'm losing a... Let's get it from this side.
There's a little... There's that end. Beautiful.
God, we lost a few, but that's okay. So what would your guidelines be for getting these all even? It took me a while when I did it. I didn't cut mine until after I pulled it off the cardboard.
Yeah.
And they were, and then I gave it a
was
hair.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
That may have been kind of wrangling them.
But what I did,
tight.
what I did, Katie, when this happened to me, is I actually took. Let me show you. I literally took each one, and I pulled each one. I got the length I wanted, and I pulled each one by one, and I put the one I pulled in my hand. So I pulled that one already. Then I pulled that one, and I pulled them one at a time until they all came out evenly.
Nice and even.
Now, if we had been a little more careful
with the tassel top.
Then
let me even some of these out. And why don't you lay out what we're going to do next on those? Can I cut the little tails, Janice, on the Ceylon?
Yeah, cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to come in, and so I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut that tail right up against, and this tail right up against, because it's kind of in my way. There you go. I took it off the little thing because I had to add some more beads. Get that out of the way, and let me get this out of the way.
Now, do we want to do the jump rings and everything now, or should we?
How did you do it? Did you add the jump rings after, or did you do them before?
You know, you're asking me to remember.
Well, I think, Janice, we can always add those jump rings after.
Okay.
I think it'll be pretty easy to do. And this tassel is almost
I'm going to
ready
just check that this can go. I've got to pick a rondelle that will go up and down twice. I suppose you could ream a bead if you wanted to. I am so against reaming. It's like a religion to me. Okay, I'm going to use the smaller bead instead of the one in the project, and that one, I'm going to use this one.
And do you mind if I even this tassel out now a
no,
little bit?
just give it a it's
kind of nice,
give it a haircut and give it a hoo-ha. And the nice thing of this green girl bead, don't you love with Cynthia? She put a tree on one side, grow on the side, and then this is my favorite side, is the leaf.
Yeah.
I love the leaf.
It's beautiful.
And then it says
grow strong.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
So I'm coming down. I came down through the rondelle, down through the mood bead.
Which is Day Tripper, people.
Day Tripper. Okay. It's going to start to make sense in a couple of minutes what we're doing.
There we go. I'm going to have your tassel for you in just a moment.
That's okay. I want to look at what did I do? Always trying to remember, what did I do? Oh, I put something away and then I go, what did I just do? So, so it
looks like we've got all the beads there.
Okay.
And I'm just sliding this up, making it nice and even.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of extra, and I just
why don't you show everyone that little bit of extra?
Sure.
Because you know what? It's not really going to show. It's going to curl itself.
Oh yeah, no, I had a little bit of extra glue. I added another little glue.
Oh, okay.
And so now I'm just going to come down
and give it a haircut. So give it a nice trim.
That is on the other side, I think, than where it was here.
Oh, it's whichever side you want.
Okay.
No.
I mean the Day Tripper.
Look at that! See, I forgot that.
Well, it looks good.
It looks good that way.
But I was just like, I didn't know if you needed that as an anchor underneath.
No, you're right. You're right. You see, this is why it takes us a team to do this.
That's right. Meanwhile, I'm trying to take this tassel to the salon.
Just give it a good.
I am giving it. I just want it to be nice and as even as I can get it. Not like cutting my own bangs in the mirror, like I'm so fond of doing. There we go.
Okay, nice. You were right, Baranduin. Okay, So now what the whole
There we
point of
go.
this
We
wire,
pulled that together.
the whole point of this wire is so that you're not going to find the pain in coming through.
You've got a little tunnel.
You've got your tunnel,
Mhm.
exactly. Okay, you want to take off the wire
Mhm.
now?
So I'm going to come in. I'm going to be very careful not to clip anything else of
Yeah.
Janice's.
Yeah, don't cut any more of my fingers.
Well, no, of
I'm
your
like-
wire.
Oh,
Or your fingers.
I'm like, yeah.
There we go.
Always asking for a discount when I go for a manicure. Hey, do I get a discount? No.
Oh,
Okay, so
Janice, you're
there's
funny.
there's the
There's that.
the
It's
tassel.
pretty with that smaller one.
Yeah, it is. Do you think it's too small?
I think that the hole that you used with the you know what? I would say don't second guess yourself.
Just stick with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I need to do though, wait for it before
Yeah.
you take it off. I'm going to keep our tunnel in our tassel because you're going to take this off, right?
Oh,
Or are you going to use this one?
let's
Sorry.
let's take it
Mhm.
off and let's use the bigger
Yeah.
one, because this tassel's even bigger than the one I made.
Mhm.
So let's take that off.
So that's why I put that
Yes, yes. I'm going. Why are
'cause
you making
why-
a tunnel again?
why? There we go.
Okay.
Back in our tunnel.
I also use the bigger one because that's all I had in my bead studio.
Well, I think it's right.
It's a good one, yeah.
It gives it a little weight too. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take
Out
that
she
wire
goes.
out. Beautifully done.
Okay, then up we go.
Okay, so now
up through,
up through there.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then up through the green girl bead or whatever bead you use.
And did you use just a single series of jump rings on that mala, Janice, to
I did.
put it together? You didn't double them up,
No,
did you?
I didn't. They're just, where is this mala?
But you did a little, like a little
I just,
chain. Okay,
I
see.
did
Okay.
one that
And then
went
this
in,
one.
so we probably want to do that 1st
Mhm.
We want to put,
So this guy is ready, right? So
Okay.
that's what went there.
so I started with just putting the
Oh, and
one
you
on
just
the
put it-
top.
You
I
actually
put one
it,
and then grab them all to the one.
oh, I see, and you put it on the inside of the tassel there.
I
Not,
did?
You did, not all the
Yeah,
way
no,
around.
I did put it on the inside of the
Mhm.
tassel.
So I'm gonna
And
do that
on
now.
like as many cords as you can get. It doesn't have to be all of them. Just as many as you can, and then bring it through. I don't know if you can get them through all of them, but just grab enough without breaking any. There you go.
There it goes.
And then here's your other.
I've got
You
it right
got it?
there.
Okay. And then you have
I have an extra one.
but
so I'm
then
just
you
gonna
have
put
an
that on.
anchor to be able to put all of your charms to
Mhm.
without having to put each one through. Yeah,
So that's on there.
yeah. And then we have to go up through that rondelle. That's important because that's going to help us tighten everything.
Oh, and was I not supposed to knot it, or was I?
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
were. You did great.
All right. For the moment, I was worried. There we go. That looks nice. And then just like you have to just walk it up
yeah,
there.
you just have to walk it up.
And look at how nice that big whole bead kind of tames the
Mm-hmm.
the mala top, the tassel top.
And then you want to put a knot here.
Okay. Oh, you got
And
it.
I'm just,
Mhm.
you know, I don't use tweezers or anything. I'm just going to go in here like this, and then I pinch.
And split it out. Now
And
you're ready.
there I go. And
Mhm.
now you're ready to add your other beads and get to the back.
So if you were pre-stringing this, you would pre-string all of the beads for one side.
Correct.
And then you could, now at this point that you've gone through the mala, you could pre-string everything on this side and continue.
Now, what I'd like to do
Mm-hmm.
is, if you want to string some more
Sure.
beads, I want to get a tape measure, and I want to measure how much difference the knot made with your thread, because I don't know if we can get this over our heads. You have to be able to wear it at least 22 inches of an opening. So this here is 28. Mine is from that little bead to the very back. It's not a little short of 28. Let's see what yours is. So from here to here, you're at 24. It'll still go
24.
over the head, but the difference of the size of that thread is pretty amazing.
So if you wanted your knots to be a little bit bigger, the holes in these beads, you could pop up to, I think the hematite thread that you use, the next one is a 3, right?
No, I used a 1. You could probably go to a 2,
A 2?
but you'd have to make sure.
Oh gosh.
That's okay,
I
we have
lost a
others.
bead.
That's okay.
Lost
You'd
a
have to make sure that the beads you used at the beginning and then
Go
this
through.
here, you might have to ream a little something. So how about if I do this briolette wrap?
Do you want to do it?
Yeah,
Sure.
I do it differently than you do
Okay.
it, and
Vive la différence, Janice.
yeah, mine are very funky compared to Kate's. They're like
just
smooth and effortless, and mine
your
are
wire's just fine.
different. But while you're doing that, I can do this.
Sure.
So
I'm just gonna not and you know what, we're going a little over today, but it's always a special time when Janice is here, so we're not gonna worry about timing here.
Okay.
That's right.
So I'm using 24 gauge
yeah, the titanium.
On the wrist mala. I use the 20. This 24 would not be heavy enough for this little hedgehog bead for it to last, for years. So, but for the briolette, again, the hole size really makes a difference. So 24 gauge will fit. It should fit.
And it's the quality of these briolettes, I always say.
Right.
It's so good that it fits so nicely.
Well, they're basically, because they're gemstones, they're sold by weight, and if they put a nice hole in it, a lot of the weight, the manufacturer, the bead maker, would be on the floor of the factory. So they give us the tiniest holes possible. Same with pearls.
Yeah.
They don't want to give us a decent sized hole like a glass bead. So what I'm going to do is it's about, 3 inches, 3.5 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch them both up, and I do this with my hand so that I just like them I look at it, I kind of make sure that it's even, that my pinch point is at the middle of the top of the briolette. That's the first thing I do. Then I take the chain nose pliers. I'm going to turn this around, and I just want to bring these up so that they're parallel to each other. They're kind of side by side. So they're like that now. I'll show it your way, okay? Then I take the round nose pliers. I put it right above the pinch point, and then I bend them back, and I'm holding the plier like it's a garden hose. That's how I do it. And then I loosen my plier a little bit and rotate it a quarter turn. So I go from here to here, and you want just the smallest loop, so you go right to the tip of your round nose. Now I'm going to bring both of them over and down, both over and down, side by side. Now I'm going to rotate my plier another quarter turn. So I'm going from here to here. Then I'm taking the long one, because they're both facing the floor. I'm going to take my long one, and I'm going to wrap it around the short one, gathering it up so that it's captured. And depending on if you like it, you could stop it here so that your top of your briolette is exposed, or you can keep going if you have a long enough piece of wire, and you can cover part of your top of your briolette. And then I'm just going to bring it, I'm going to kind of loosen the wire a little bit. So you would call it annealing, is that what you call it?
Yeah, your work hardening.
Your work, yeah. And then
your work hardening. Making the wire a little more buoyant.
right. And then I'm just going to cut it sort of at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm going to cut this one.
And it also gives you a double loop over at the top.
Yeah, because it's got this nice little cute little
Mhm.
loop. And then all I do is I take my round nose and I'll just even it out and straighten it up. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if I want this to face the other direction, this is where I would take my chain nose, hold the briolette, and then just give it a half turn.
Mhm.
You can't keep doing this. You can't go, oh no, now I want to go back. I don't like it that way. But then that's your
Mhm.
that's your little as perfect as Kate's.
Oh, please.
There,
It's fantastic.
but mine have personality.
Everybody loves it. Everybody
Mine
loves it.
have
Everybody's loving you.
Well, thank you everyone out there. You know what side your bread is buttered on. No, but when they say, hey, can we get this bead in, or will you get tunnel vision? We're getting, did tunnel vision get put on there?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
But anyway, they know that I'm always listening and trying to, you are too, Kate, that's true. Okay, but I am not, I will be the first to tell you, I am not a wire wrapper.
Well,
There's nothing
that's a
about
great
me
wire wrap.
that says I wrap wire well, but I do it
Except
my
that
way.
sign that you, that bumper sticker that you had made, that you put on your car, that says "Follow me to
Right.
wire wrapping Nirvana."
Right.
That's what that.
So now I'll open up a jump ring, put this little briolette on, which is like the saddest little briolette I've ever made.
No, it's not.
And then this will
Please
go
stop.
on. No, it's really pretty sick. It really is. Look at it. It, you know, because I'm wrapping so far away from my eyes.
I know it's hard when you're on.
Okay, so we'll
when
put.
you're on the broadcast.
So this
We're gonna
will
put this on in
this
just
will
a
get
second.
put on in a little bit.
So the on your finished piece here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, because we're coming down the home stretch. I wonder if
Right.
I can get these.
Well, we don't
knotted
have to
for
have
you.
them all knotted. You
Mhm.
could take some of them off, and we could just show how
Mhm.
you
And
doesn't
close
have.
it.
Yeah, we don't have to do. We can
Mhm.
fake it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay. We're just making a copy of the same one. It's
Yeah,
not like it's
'cause
a new one.
I want you guys to see in action how this
Yeah.
is. And Lynn Carling says, yes, Janice, she ordered the new tunnel vision already.
Oh,
so,
great, Lynn!
So don't.
See?
So
See?
see, there you
My
have it.
OCD is
There you have
really
it.
pays
Let
off.
me just put another couple.
Okay.
Another couple on here.
Okay.
Why don't you show on the wrist mala, because we're going to show that on Friday.
Okay.
But that wrist mala, you've done the same thing. But notice how what Janice used, instead of thread going through the top of the tassel, you actually just used wire.
I use
right?
20 gauge wire,
Mhm.
yes, and I instead of putting the jump rings through the
Mhm.
tassel, I put the jump ring around, just around
Mm-hmm.
the
tassel
wire
top.
wrap that I did. Yeah.
Oh, right, and so the wire comes through
Yeah,
and goes
it's
through,
just yeah.
and then the jump ring sits right
yeah,
there.
it sits right there. But I struggled with what was I going to do with this hedgehog bead, because it's got such a big hole,
Mhm.
and
You didn't want it to
I
flop
didn't
around.
I didn't want this too long.
Mhm.
And then I said, just go for it.
And one of the things that I also like, there's been some talk in the group, our bead table group, about branding. and about making your mark on your own jewelry.
Oh, you mean my little
and so,
signature bead?
while I just try and put a few more of these on, we have a few minutes. You really are a queen of the brand. I mean, you worked in the biz for quite a few years.
No, I used to sell my jewelry years and years ago.
So you've added your little. Everybody can see your little tag that was made.
Yeah, I had little tags made that say JP Designs.
And it's a nice. I think it's a nice place to add it.
Oh, I would. Yeah, it's not too big. And I want to say I got them, I think, at Unit Tool, or who is it in Providence? There's some, you can go online.
There's a link. I've given it to Drea before to link in the episode notes, and we'll have to look. But now, even nowadays, it's a lot easier to get them made. When you and I got them made way back in the day, we had to go to like the jewelry manufacturers,
and then you had to send it to the platers.
Right, the platers, exactly. Over in Providence. But Drea has those links, and she'll link them in the episode notes.
But you needed to order like 10,000.
Oh no, I had 12 gross.
I have like 10.
Yeah,
I have like
12,000. Yeah,
I still have a bag of these. So.
It's one of the
order
reasons.
them when you're younger, Don't order them when you're my age, because
that you're not going to change your name.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons I kept the Richburg. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
because of my jewelry tag.
But if you didn't want to do that, if you didn't want to do a tag, you could also find, like, let's say your birthstone. You could take a crystal or a gemstone. You could wire wrap that. And that could be on something that you put on every one of your pieces. That there's something that you do that makes your jewelry unique. Your signature thing that people then, when they start collecting you, because they will, that there's something that they go, oh yes, that's an original Kate Richburg. Or that's a Baranduin, and so it doesn't, if you're not at the point where you can even start to think about ordering, your own tags, let it go. You don't have to do it, but do something that makes, whether
find
it's,
a little charm.
even if it's you have an organza bag and you sew a couple of beads on it, or you add something,
nice
a little card,
Yeah, exactly.
something, it goes a long way. So you're almost...
Sam, I can take this. Why don't I just give this to you? You
Okay.
need how many? Would you have the ones that we checked for size?
Those, I didn't check one for this side yet, though.
Okay.
So these are all good. I need one.
One that you're going to go back through?
And so here, bring it over here. So we want one bead.
Like that, with no knot.
no hole. And then I want like one more bead that we can go through
that
twice.
has no knot. Okay. So
I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to check and just make sure. This looks like it's got a nice big hole.
And Cindy says,
yeah, that's good.
She likes to use pearls that way. Use pearls as her signature.
Yes,
which
absolutely.
Is nice.
You don't have to go out and spend money
on 10,000 jewelry tags.
No, you don't. You don't.
So now, you guys, here comes the big reveal for this.
So it's not even. Everyone can see we're not even. But you could also do this any place on the necklace. You don't have to.
It doesn't have to be at the end.
Right. Okay, I want to just show one thing.
Yeah,
can I just show one thing?
You can do whatever you want.
So let's say you're knotting along and you're pulling your threads, like really tight, everything is good, and then one of your threads breaks.
Oh, God.
Your thread broke.
The thread broke.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do?
Yes.
What are you going to do? What I want you to do is I want you to just pull the broken thread a little bit further, and then bring down your next bead, and you're just going to do a regular knot. So I'll add, if I can, I'll add one more bead. I'm going to just add one more bead. I'm going to have you knot it like this.
And it's no big deal, right? Remember,
no big deal.
Pull that thread down.
No big deal.
I heard the collective gasp,
Yeah.
right? I heard the collective gasp from everybody across YouTube
Okay,
land.
this is the money shot. This is what you pay us the big bucks for, is for this little, you just cut the thread.
Tighten it down, tighten that knot. And look, it's like
And
nothing
then,
ever happened.
and then you just go in here with your flush cutter.
Would you glue that at all? You wouldn't?
No.
No, because there's no knot to
No.
glue.
And you just come in and you cut that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to cut
Sure.
it? Because your eyes are a little better
These are
than
right down at the bottom of the screen.
mine. Okay.
So now Janice is going to check one more bead to make sure. There we go. Whoops.
Okay. Whoops. What
You know what I
happened?
did? My eyes are not that much better than yours, Janice.
Did we cut it?
I cut it.
Okay,
So,
can you bring it down?
yeah.
Okay, so let's bring it down. And then let's,
So I'm going to tie that knot
okay,
one more
so
time.
tie that knot. And then, see, we fixed it again.
See? No big
Sure.
NBD.
Okay, so while Kate's doing that,
Whoops,
I want
need
to,
to
oh,
get the end.
okay,
There.
I want everybody, this is where we started. We started with 4 beads with big holes. Then we added a knot, and then we continued knotting. And
There it
your
is.
knots are super tight, yeah. Okay,
So now you need to add another bead.
okay, so let's add one more bead, and let's check that it has a nice big hole. Yeah, I can tell already that has a nice big hole. Actually, no, because, okay, yeah. All right. No,
No extra bead.
No extra bead. So we had added an extra bead by mistake. Okay, so here's where we started, right? So this is our little tail we're going to keep.
But no knot on this last bead right here.
Yeah, no knot over here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come up through your first bead, pull it through. I'm going to move that out of the way. And now you have a thread on each side. You have no knot, no knot, no knot. So what we're going to do, it's called Over the River and Through the Woods. So this is over the river. I've made a loop. Then I'm going to come under here. Everyone is so still.
I know, I'm like,
It's
and then what happened, Gopka?
Let's put, and then we have to get this nice and tight.
Right, we don't want any,
No,
gotta get the tension right.
No space. And then separate your threads. And then this is where you, am I in the shot, Brandon? Are the beads? Then we have to go back through this first bead that we strung on.
Yeah, go through the hole.
Go through the hole. Point your needle up so you don't go through the second bead, but it's a little bit of a struggle. You have to, see, I went through 2 beads. You want to just go through 1 bead. I have to bring it closer to me so I can see it. There we go. And as you bring it in, you want to have your hand in here to keep the thread from curling.
Nice and tame, yeah. Yeah, if you have trouble getting that needle through, just use your pliers to give it a little tug.
You don't want this thread getting curled, because what it does is it creates like a curly knot. You want to make sure that you're holding it.
So it doesn't twist or anything, right?
There we go.
There it goes.
I was pulling the wrong end. Could you get the pliers out of the picture? I always tend to put thread around pliers. So I'm bringing it all in.
right, leading it up so it doesn't kink underneath the
Right.
bead. Now
Then
it's in
we're gonna
position
do,
again.
we're gonna do it again, over the river and through the woods. And you can do this on any endless necklace.
Yeah, it's nice.
You know, where you're working with thread and you want to make sure you get it right in place, in the right place where you want it. And if you find that your knot is not big enough, you could do this again. You know, you could do it on top of it. I don't think I'd recommend going through the same knot twice, because it would look kind of loopy maybe, and then come up again.
There, and then there's
Feed
our
it
third
through.
one. And remember, the amount of thread we cut was for a full.
It was 4 yards.
Yeah, it was for a full longer mala.
Yeah, right. So even at this size, you could go 3.5 yards. So if you find that they're getting like maybe a little twisty, you can bring your tweezers in, like Kate uses. Bring your tweezers in here, and then pull it in, and that keeps it. You don't want this twisting and getting all twisted, because it'll leave a lump of thread, and then just pull your tweezers out, and then we have.
Now at this, your last knot, do you split the thread, or do you do the same knot?
I have to come back through one more bead.
Oh, one more?
Don't we have 4?
I thought you did 3. Is there one more there?
I'll have to check. I thought we put on 3 with no, you know, see, here I go again, I can't remember. So.
There we go, nice.
And then is there a knot there?
Nope, you are correct, JP.
Okay, so you have to go back through all 3 beads. And then end up before the 4th bead.
No, Ginger, it would be about 3.5 yards, not 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5 would be
way
crazy
too
long.
much. Now I have said on the mala handout to cut 5 yards, but that's using 8mm beads. They're bigger. It's a much longer necklace. Now you can do it a couple ways. You can do this knot again.
Because this is our last ending.
This is the last
knot.
one on this side. Or traditionally I have separated them and then done a knot on this side and a knot on the other side. But I am starting now to lean towards just doing this again. It's a clean look.
A clean look, sure.
And
everything here is
nice
knotted.
and secure. You know, like in order for this to come out, it's got to come out through 4 beads. So it's not gonna. I would put a little glue here though.
Okay.
I think
I'll get it ready.
So I would put glue here. Wait, let me tighten it first.
You tell me when you're ready.
Yeah. Well, let's do this side first, and then we'll glue them both.
Okay.
So on this one, you have this loose thread and the 1 bead, right? You can just do the over the woods on this side as well.
And do you want to, do you need to cut that knot away or anything? Or
no,
you're just going to?
No, you're
just going to tie it.
You just come under and you just do the over the river. It's, you don't need to.
Okay.
It's just, I want to make sure I have it in the right spot though. And then even with that knot on, you can come in and separate your threads. So now this one, there's a little bit of play, so why not just add another knot right next to it?
Those tweezers are handy.
Aren't they great?
It's a
there you go.
good
And now you
toolbox
could put the glue on, the starting and the stopping. Where's our plastic baggie?
I got it here. It's right here. Oh my God, I got it.
There and there.
Okay.
And voila, you have a knotted doohickster.
And so you would, before we cut any of these extra strands away, Janice, you'd let the knots rest.
I'd
right?
let them rest, like at least 3 hours. And that's it. And then I'd snip, snip.
And that's it.
Et voila. So when you do your endless star cut knotted necklace, you can end it like this.
Yeah. It'll be nice to end it that way.
Yeah. You want to put that in a jar and we'll close it later?
I've almost got it, I think, maybe. There it goes. I was just afraid to get it.
This is
over.
even nice, this length.
Yeah, it's
you can
pretty
put it
length
on your hand.
Yeah, see, it's very pretty. So it just depends on what you like. But this closure, I think, is just, look at how pretty that green. Look at the color of the beads. How different they are.
And then you
just
can
depending.
add your your briolette.
Let's put this briolette on, shall we? Just for fun. It just goes right in there, and we'll close it up.
Right, here you go.
Thank you. All right. Well, Janice, on Friday, and we'll move the camera back eventually. But,
on Friday, we're going to do the
we'll do the one on the chain. Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's the little keyhole chain that we've used. Okay. So that's it. So that's my story.
Lunch.
I'm sticking to it.
All right. Ready to try
let's move this all back. Here.
This goes.
Look at that.
And
look at how smooth that is.
Don't worry, right? Don't worry about if you've got 108 or 110 or 57 or whatever you want. It's your mala.
Yeah.
You do you.
That is correct.
Right.
Look at that.
Oh, and I have it brightened, so I want to turn down the brightness.
There we go. The camera's moving a little bit, so I want to still it. There we go. All right.
And then to get the kinks out of the knots, I roll it. I roll it on wool or on a skirt or on your and they will relax.
Why are you stopping?
But don't pull on them. Don't pull on them.
Yeah.
Do not do this.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you want to roll it. Roll it.
Yeah,
and they will
leave it out.
relax.
Yeah, looks
They
great.
will relax.
Well, that was an epic project. I loved it. If you, some of you were chatting in the YouTube chat, our first mala necklace, and we have it linked also on the Facebook Live page. Download the handout. It's great.
The handout is like
great,
20 pages or something.
it's gorgeous.
It's crazy.
I did want to mention something, Janice, before we left. Now, if you guys are new to watching beadshop.com, here on Wednesdays, our Wednesday Bead Shop Live broadcast, there's a couple of things to further your education and further your communication with us. I know a lot of our regulars are watching us today, and it's great. It's great to have you, but we also welcome all of our new viewers.
Yeah.
Our Facebook was down today, so if you're coming over here and you're going, how come I couldn't find the broadcast over on Facebook? Facebook is having a login issue, so you can rewatch this. All of these broadcasts are Wednesday,
24/7.
our Wednesday broadcasts, our Friday broadcasts. Many of our tutorials, video tutorials that we made pre this Facebook broadcast are all over on our YouTube channel. So if you subscribe, give it a little subscription, you'll get a notification when we post a new video. We also communicate with you via our newsletter from beadshop.com. Drea does a wonderful job of writing those and communicating with you guys. So hop over to our website. It's beadshop.com and sign up on our newsletter list. We keep all of your info private. And when you shop, if you go, today is the 13th of March already. So if you went to our website today to go shopping, you would see we have a slider up that says JP is back, and it says save 20% store-wide, which was awesome. But if you got the newsletter, you got a little newsletter secret, which I'm going to share with you right now. we actually, to our newsletter subscribers and to you guys, our YouTube, our live viewers,
Today.
we did, and it actually goes all through the week and through the weekend.
Oh, great.
So to celebrate, Janice, you being back, the coupon code is JP25.
Wow.
And you're saving 25% store-wide. And this is one of our big sales. It goes through the weekend and ends Monday night, 3/18/2019 at midnight Pacific time. So if you want to do some shopping now, fantastic. Check out, get those beads on their way. If you want to join us again on Friday
Please
and
do.
want to do that, this JP25, you just enter it right in the coupon code box as you're checking out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop us a line over at info@beadshop.com. Drea is always on, as she likes to say, our customer happiness team.
24/7.
Yep, and we'll get right back to you if you have any questions. But that's it. So JP25 in the coupon code box. We'll have those
Other palettes
those other
in the
palettes
episode notes?
listed in the episode notes. But create some of your own palettes as well. But this one is really, really lovely. The Never Stop Growing. It was a beautiful palette, Janice, that you chose. So, so you guys can jump in and create your own. So we'll see everybody on Friday.
I had so much fun.
Friday.
I had such a great time with everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and dealing with not watching on Facebook. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, everybody jumped on over, so I think we had everybody over here, which was awesome. So thank you guys so much. We're going to get some lunch. You guys put your feet up, relax, have some fun creative bead time, and we'll see you back here on Friday at 10:30 Pacific time for Free Tip Friday.
Right.
All right, you guys. See you soon.
Bye.